Hey, I think we are live. It's early, well, kind of early for people in Montana. It's 6:51. There are people joining here. Hey, we wanted to get on here. I just was waking up, reading the news, and saw a bunch of messages come in because we had former National Security Advisor John Bolton on our show. I don't know, a couple of months, Senator. A couple of months ago. Hold on,
Yes, Bill.
I need to sneeze. Hold on. Okay, I saved it. And a lot of people sent me messages this morning saying, oh my gosh, with, eyeball emojis because the Washington Post and New York Times right now are both reporting that the FBI is currently searching the home of John Bolton. And, he has been, as we talked about with him, he has been an outspoken critic of the Trump administration, but still staunchly conservative. Staunchly conservative. It's not like he switched parties. But both, again, the Washington Post and New York Times reported that the FBI is conducting court authorized activity in the area. They both tried to call Bolton and he didn't respond, of course. I wouldn't expect him to it during this time. And yeah, I mean, the president has been basically put a target on his back ever since he spoke out against him. What are your thoughts, Senator?
Well, it's incredibly troubling, and I say that as a huge understatement. The fact that the court has offered to go into a political opponent of the president because he's been very outspoken on the president's policies and what he's done um, is incredibly troubling. Uh, and we've talked about the fact that our democracy is slipping away and we're heading towards dictatorship. From my perspective, this is a giant step in that direction. Anytime the president of the United States can go after his political enemies and use the courts to do it, means that ain't no doubt he controls the courts. He absolutely controls the agencies under him. That's been obvious for a while. And this also means that, as my friend that was the uh, opponent of Putin in the USSR said, it was no time to sit on your hands and be complacent. If this doesn't send out a I'm not even going to call it a warning shot, a perspective that this president's going to do everything he can do to silence his political enemies. And that's not what democracy is about. That's not what freedom of speech is about. That's not what this country is about. Then it upsets me greatly. It is quite frankly something I never ever thought I'd see in my lifetime. It's something that I never ever thought I'd be worried about. Something that I never ever thought would ever happen and could ever happen here. Let that happen in red China. Let that happen in communist China. Let that happen in Putin's Russia. Let that happen in communist dictatorships around the world where they go after their political opponents, not because they're bad people, but because they have a different point of view. If this doesn't wake up Congress and the American people to apply some pressure to Congress, I think we're done. I think you can write the country off. I think it's over with. I think he will control everything, everything. And that means everything. That means our business community. That means Wall Street. That means agriculture. That means our working people. That means everything. And if Congress sits back and allows this to happen with John Bolton, who, by the way, I will tell you, I don't agree with politically on just about anything. But I cannot believe that he has done anything that would deserve the FBI to do a raid on his place other than being critical of the president of the United States.
Yeah, he go ahead, I'll let you finish.
No, that's it. I mean, that's about all I got to say. I mean, the truth is this is very disturbing, very disgusting. And as Congress sits on their hand and says, "Oh yeah, this is okay. This will go away. This will be fine." Remember, we're 6 months into this term, and these people want to change what we're doing here. We listened to our last podcast that talks about this guy's view, President Trump's views, a view from the East, not the West. And we are becoming We are becoming what we fought as a country for my whole lifetime and generations before. And this is crazy. And if Congress doesn't step up and if people don't put pressure on Congress, it's a big mistake.
So Christina wrote on our chat here that no one is safe, and that's something you kind of said when I sent you the
Yep.
text this morning.
Yep.
Kelly says she's glad to see your anger. It's going to take more people to wake up. We're only getting started. Here's the thing. I mean, I think I know the answer to this question already, but your former Republican colleagues who you've said are good people, a lot of them are good people, and you've gotten a lot of hell for that. I have to imagine some of them are still friends with John Bolton. Do you think anybody on the Republican side of the aisle is going to come out and say, what the hell is going on here?
Well, I hope so. I mean, I really do. I really hope so. I mean, Al Franken always said, Ted Cruz was hated by the Democrats, but he's also hated by the Republicans. There's a lot of Ted Cruzes in the United States Senate right now on the Republican side of the aisle. These guys are not stepping up. They're not doing their job. And I don't give a shit if it costs them the primary election. I don't care if this is the way it goes. At some point in time, they're going to be out of the United States Senate. And when they lay in that bed looking at that fluorescent light because they've been diagnosed with a fucking cancer, they'll be thinking about this screw up. And so they need to step up. They need to do their job. They need to be a check and a balance on the executive branch of government. Because quite frankly, folks, you guys I served with, love you all, but this is fucking out of control. And so get after it, okay? Start asking questions, start holding hearings, start finding out if the Bolton exercise that we're seeing happening today is something that is meritorious or if it's something that is the president going after political enemies. Because if it's the latter, we're in big trouble. We are in big trouble because, quite frankly, nobody is safe. What happens next? They send somebody to a fucking El Salvadorian prison. Okay. This is not the United States of America. This is not a place where we have freedom of speech and freedom of religion and freedoms, period, and freedoms of privacy. This is a third world communist situation that's devolving right in front of us, devolving right in front of us. It's a big deal. And
Yeah,
like I
it's a
said,
really big deal.
John Bolton politically, probably 180 degrees apart. But John Bolton should have the right given to us by the Constitution to be critical of the president. And if he's being investigated for that reason, then this needs to be held up. This needs to be stopped. The people need to be held accountable. And Congress needs to do their job.
Yeah, we're certainly waiting for any kind of information as to what they're looking for, what this investigation looks like, what they're alleging. But
And
it,
and
it's
I'm telling you, if I was in the Senate and they talk about what they were looking for and what make sure what is going on here is real and is not made up bullshit. That it is real. You know, if John Bolton's peddling fucking meth from his house, then that's fine. But if he's being critical of the president of the United States, that's bullshit. So, the guys got to do their job. They got to do their job or the country's gone. It's just gone. And I'm going to tell you,
uh,
I didn't serve 25 years in the state legislature and the U.S. Senate for this country to look like this for my kids and grandkids. Look, I turned 69 yesterday. It don't matter for me. But God damn it, this is bullshit.
yeah, it's troubling. It's troubling. When we talked to John Bolton, I mean, we talked to him about the president canceling his security detail at one point. This is a guy, like you said, he has not changed his political views at all. He is still so very conservative, but he's critical of this president.
Yep. No, when he was a security advisor for Bush, he used to drive me crazy. I mean, I used to look at some of the stuff he's doing. I just go, "Oh my God, what's he doing?" It's driving me up a wall. But I will back him till his guts cave for his right to be critical of anybody, because that's called freedom of speech.
First Amendment. I know we were just kind of saying like, who's next? Oh my gosh, who's next? If John Bolton and I will say though, I John Bolton's a smart guy and he knew what he was doing and he knew that these were probably the risks.
No, I don't think so. I
You
don't.
don't
I
think
don't
so?
think. I don't think. I don't think anybody ever thought it would devolve to this point. I never. I
Well,
just don't. I mean, I mean, look. If he was in, uh, if he was in China, I'd say yeah, he knew what the risks are. Or if he was in Russia, yeah, or any other communist country that's a dictatorship. But that seems to be okay these days. When you see Putin walk into Anchorage, Alaska on a goddamn red carpet, a guy who kills everybody and babies and everything else, and then the president changes his position, yeah, this country's changing, okay? And that's just bad leadership. I got that. Being played by a communist dictator, I got that, okay? I want peace too, but you don't get played, okay? If Joe Biden would have done that, we'd all run him out of office. That's a fact. That is a fact. Democrats and Republicans alike would have run him out of office. But it's okay. Why? Because these guys are scared shitless that they're going to run a primary opponent against him, and somebody like Elon Musk is going to fund the primary. Well, maybe not Elon now, but they'll find some other rich billionaire dupe to do it. This is crazy. Anyway, I got to go on a
okay.
combine.
Hey, I hope you had a good birthday.
I
Happy
had it.
birthday.
I had a great birthday. I survived another lap around the sun, so it was good.
All right, we'll keep watching this for you guys, and we appreciate you hopping on with us,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we'll update this.
It is a Friday morning, as I recall, right? It's 22nd. Let me look at the calendar. That's a Friday morning, the
Yeah.
22nd. Got to probably remember this day. All right, guys.
All right. Thanks, guys. Bye bye.
Yeah, talk to you.